Thank you very much. And my job is, as a futurist, is to work with many of the largest companies in the world, helping them to do two things. One is to minimize their risk, and the other is to seize the opportunity. And you know, it's easy to look at the video and collapse in depression and think that somehow the travel industry will never quite recover. There are two things here. Firstly, recovery will come. Put your hands up if you think that recovery will come within the next 3 years to this country. Put your hands up. Put your hands up if you think it's going to come within the next 24 months. Not so many. The fact is, we have a view, we can have a debate, but it will come. And the other issue that's going to change the travel industry, of course, is exchange rates, and whatever happens to the pound in relation to the dollar and the euro has the most dramatic impact on your revenues. But some other good news. If you are in the global travel industry, whatever the exchange rate does, all it does is tell you who's going to be traveling where. So it's easy if you're based only in the UK, if you have all the eggs in that particular basket, to be very overexposed to the value of one particular currency. But the fact is that travel is here to stay, we are addicted to it, it's in our genetic code, and that has to be good news for you. So I'm going to spell the future of the travel, tourism, hospitality industries, F-U-T-U-R-E, and the first phase of the future is fast, to do with the speed of change, and it's a question of what is on the outer edge of this radar screen. And all kinds of low probability events can come crashing into the travel industry. For example, it could be a weather phenomenon, it could be a tornado, it could be a worry about a new mutant virus. All kinds of things can happen very quickly. All kinds of things can happen within your companies too. And one thing we begin to understand, it doesn't matter whether you look at the subprime crisis, whether you look at the impact of an event like bird flu or whatever it is, or swine fever, we begin to see that the future will be driven by a single word, and it's not even about Google. It's not about technology, it's not about innovation. Now these things, don't get me wrong, they're all incredibly important. But the most important driver of all is emotion. Why? Because it is the connection of emotion with technology, connection of emotion with the things which are happening around us that will drive the future. That's why we don't believe in market research. Oh yes, you listen to it, just don't believe it. Market research will tell you what people are going to do tomorrow and the day after, and if you're lucky, in 3 to 6 months' time, so long as a big event hasn't happened. Market research is simply a historical study of what people told you yesterday. But their emotions can change very rapidly. If you start thinking about people who might have thought of investing in the Dubai economy last Wednesday, market research does not tell you what money will flow into the Dubai economy next week. It can only tell you what people thought about it yesterday. So we need to go a little bit further. We need to take a guess on what the future will be like, and then try and imagine your customers within it. And here are some of the things which I'm seeing, and this is just a personal view, and I'll whistle through a few of these things. We're seeing them to one degree or another. Some of these things are going to be incredibly significant. As the faster the world goes, the faster we have to unwind. And that means intense leisure breaks, and that's going to be a continuing boom time. Yes, I know, it'll vary a little bit depending on the amount of money people have in their pockets at the moment and the exchange rate. But the fact is, short breaks, stress busters, rapid growth of city tourism, these are going to be huge things for the future right across the European Union. Stag nights, hen weekends, and couple resorts. Here's an interesting thing. Every now and then you find bits and pieces within the travel industry about which people seem blind. Put your hands up if you've been on a couples resort only holiday. Hardly anybody. Put your hands up if you might be interested in going to a resort where there's no screaming children, crying babies, or adolescents puking in the corridors. My friends, this is an interesting market. It's a luxury premium market right now with almost zero provision except in Jamaica. You cannot find, I don't think, hardly one single hotel apart from in one small Greek island which will only cater for couples. One of the other things that happens with speed is impatience. We are unbelievably impatient now. You know that you will lose up to 30% of all the web traffic to your site within the first 5 to 6 seconds if your site doesn't come up, bang. And you also know, and Google will teach you these things, that if you have just one added question to add onto a registration page or one other box to fill, you start losing about 5 to 10% of all of your sales with every single extra question you ask. My friends, we are in an impatient world. And I can't tell you how annoying it is for me sometimes to find it. I'm having to wait 24 hours for a response for a hotel. Put your hands up if you find that annoying. You found them, and now you're on an email address, and nothing is happening. You can't make the booking. My friends, this is last century stuff. Hotels like that will be toast, they'll be dead, they'll be closed within the next 12 months unless they sort themselves out. By the way, talking of hotels, here I am. I've traveled halfway around the world, and I travel 50 times a year doing things like this. I've been through the American immigration system and got out the other side. I'm in a taxi. I think I'll just about make it. I'm at the hotel. There I am. What is the one thing that I need right now? I'm at the reception desk. I'm trying to check in. What is the one thing I want? What is the one thought I have in my mind right now? Drink, shower, no. And it's not even email. Toilet. I think I'm going to have a real accident in another 33 seconds if she doesn't check me in right now. All I want is a key. Now, can please anybody tell me, why is it that I can't be electronically checked in? Why is it with this electronic system that I can't just produce a card, that you couldn't send an SMS saying to me, your key is in your pocket, it's your credit card, just swipe it through the door, it's 371, and good day to you? Why is it that I have to go through the same old business, filling in my passport number for the 43,000th time inside the same hotel chain? I'm saying these are areas where sometimes I think we can be blind to the future. One of my jobs is to remove risk. One of the greatest risks in any organization is institutional blindness. We spend so much time with people inside our own industry that we forget what it actually feels like to be a consumer. And I remember I checked in a hotel once and they said, "Oh, Dr. Dixon, thank you. We've been looking forward to you arriving in our hotel." This is a 25-star hotel. I said, "You'll be delighted to know that we have a special place where you can check in now." I said, "I don't need a special place. I need a key." They sat me down. I said, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" No, I just need a key. They kept me there for 5 to 10 minutes while they were sorting everything out. They brought me this, and they brought me that, and the other. This is utter madness. Stark raving loony bonkers because the owner of the hotel doesn't know what it feels like to be a customer who's traveled 23 hours around the world. So hotels need to make life easier for the consumer. What does that mean? It means instant check-in. Yes, it means free wireless broadband. How annoying is it to spend $300 on a room and then find I've still got to spend 15 minutes trying to get my credit card number out? Hello? Is it just me? It's just odd. We need good IT support that runs till 1 in the morning. That speaks English. I'm not exaggerating. This is the substance of life. I promise you, my friends, you can get lost in all the techno stuff. This is the future of the travel industry. It's connecting with the passions people have and delivering what they need. What about power sockets that actually are connected to the desks? You know, one time I had to ring down and get an extension cord because there was no connection. The power socket was by the door and the desk was by the window, but that's another issue. Irons. Even in a 20-star hotel, I don't care. I check in at 1 in the morning. I'm on a platform at 7. How do I get my shirt ironed? I need an iron in the room. I said, no, sir, we don't do that because we're a 25-star hotel. And a knife and plate would be handy. This is what happens when we start thinking about the life from the experience of a consumer. By the way, this is a business class room. Look at the desk. Wonderful, isn't it? Put your hands up if you spend your life clearing desks of clutter in hotel rooms. What kind of insanity is this? I don't know how many trees they cut down to fill these desks full of pieces of paper. The first thing I do is throw it all on the floor. And then the following day I feel sorry for the cleaner, so I put it back on the desk again. Fast, urban. Urban is about demographics, fashions, and fads, and the biggest engine of travel, which is 1 billion children alive today, many of whom will want to travel in the future, and many of them are. In China, we're seeing a whole new generation of middle-class Chinese starting to travel. The German people are expecting 1 million Chinese visitors in the next year or two as a result of a single piece of paper signed with the Chinese government. And as our lifestyles start to change, we add other pressures as well. I have sat in the middle of 2 very well-endowed people recently and wondered how I could breathe at all. These are issues. We have beds that break, we have seats that don't fit. We need to be thinking what life is like for the customer. I don't just mean a well-endowed customer, but I mean the rest of your people as well. With demographics, fashions, fads, health trends, 1 million trips to Thailand last year to get operations. It's a new trend. It's a travel industry. Did you think you're in the healthcare business? You probably are. You may not realize it. You may not know some of the reasons why people are actually traveling. 75% of all the wealth of Britain is owned by those over the age of 65, and 65% of all those over the age of 65 are women. That means that most of the UK and US wealth is owned by old women, of which there are a very large number. In Italy, by 2026, there will be over 1 million people who are over the age of 90, almost all of whom are women. It's a new travel market. Maybe not. But the point is this: aging will drive your business. It's a huge trend, and one that perhaps we're not quite ready for. Let me give you an example. Many people think, oh yes, of course, we're going for the saga age group, in which I now am because I'm 52. And that means golf and a few other things. Well, actually, it may mean more than that. We're talking about a population who feel a lot younger than they actually are. They have a mental age of 40, a physical age of 50, but a biological age of 65 plus. And yet some things actually are getting older. Again, here's another interesting hotel room. Fascinating that someone could even consider putting 3 steps inside a room as well as leading up to a room. Here's another thought. Put your hands up if you need your glasses to read a restaurant menu at night by candlelight. Every human being over the age of 50, 51, 52 needs glasses to read most restaurant menus in London. Strange thing. Most of the people who eat in most of the best restaurants in London are over the age of 50. What a strange thing. Here we have the basic marketing tool, which is the menu, which is completely impossible to use without next generation technology for anyone under the age of 8. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but the fact is that it's part of the blindness. It's part of what happens when we lose sight of our customers. Most restaurants in London have failed to understand that their restaurant menus actually need to be changed. It's a tiny thing, but it's very important. And for the travel industry as a whole, it means things like much more reliable transport. It means paying attention to detail, like making sure that people are around to take the bags down to out of the hotel room and so on. Fast, urban, tribal. Tribalism is the most powerful force in the whole world. It's about culture, identity, team, belonging, and family. It's about language and nation. Tribalism is one of the reasons why we travel. We travel to experience other people's tribes, and we travel as tribes. Most people travel in a tribe unless they're traveling on business. They travel with a friend or a group of friends, with family and everything else. Every strong brand creates a tribe, and the stronger your brand, the stronger your tribe will be, which is very good news for you because video is very bad at creating tribes. Although people are increasingly using video for routine business transactions, when it comes to building trust, and remember, business is actually about relationship. Most people want to do a relationship with someone they feel good about at a serious level. Then we're talking about something which is difficult to do, even with huge walls of screens and videos and everything else as well. So corporate travel, while it's showing a dip right now, I promise you, it's not the end of that story. Yes, it's true, an increasing proportion of premium travel will go down and become more economic, and they'll push people on budget airlines. It is also true that an increasing proportion of total business meetings will be done virtually. But the number of business meetings globally is increasing so fast that you can expect to continue to see the number of business trips grow over the next 3 to 5 years, certainly once the economy recovers. And we are only in the first stages of globalization. The next 10 years will be very interesting. Conferencing builds tribes. Yes, there will be pressure on that particular market, but quite a lot of it will come back. And the demand for conferencing, when it happens, will be for a real tribal experience, not just another convention. Something that's really spectacular. And on the back of that, you'll find some leisure travel coming back as well, because 33% of all tourism in this particular city comes from business travel. But here's another example of blindness. I flew out, I regularly fly out to the US in one direction, come back to the UK in the other. When I'm going out, I'm in business mode. When I'm coming back, I'm crashing. When I'm going out, I have a long, exciting day, and I'm so buzzed up I don't even want to go to sleep till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, UK time. When I'm going out, I couldn't care less about the food. Why? I'm too busy. The movies, I couldn't care less. I will be doing 10, 12, or 14 hours on that particular flight. The only thing I want is power. Nothing more traumatic than remembering I forgot my spare battery halfway through a flight. So I need power, but nothing else. And actually, all I really need is an economy seat. Coming back, I will pay the earth for the best business class seat in the world, which is probably our own national airline, or nearly that, the old British Airways. They've got great seats. I came back on another airline. It wasn't BA, because the flight team was difficult. And here was an interesting phenomenon. It wasn't this airline. This is Virgin. They are brilliant too. They've got it right. They understand what motion is about. I came back on an airline that was full of American passengers. So they were on American daylight time. So as far as they were concerned, it was only about 4 in the afternoon. I thought it was about 4 in the morning, nearly. So as far as I was concerned, did I want food? No. Did I want a drink? Yes. I wanted 3 bottles of water by my bed. Or actually, there wasn't a bed, it was just a sloping seat, but never mind. I just wanted 3 bottles of water and just to be left alone in sheer darkness and in absolute quiet. What did I get? Every 2 hours, throughout the entire night, I got more announcements about duty-free. Extraordinary. 2 hours before they were going to wake me for breakfast, an hour and a half before the flight landed, another insanity, I was still being offered duty-free perfume and all kinds of other things. Utter madness. Why does these things happen? I can't imagine how they could possibly have made such a fundamental mistake. This is a global airline in business class. What happened? Can you explain it to me? I can only conclude that not a single person who was on the entire staff of that plane, from top to bottom, had ever traveled as someone who was jet-lagged on a business flight, or on any flight, come to that. What a strange thing. I'm just saying how easy it is for us to make quite big assumptions about the clients that we have and miss the future, which is being able to anticipate how the person feels before they even know it. Fast, urban, tribal, I'll go more quickly through these other phases. Globalization, yes. Murders, I'm afraid we will see a few more losses. Internet, we've talked about already. Fascinating. Yes, instant access to bookings and the rest. I know it's a fallacy. You know that you can sell much more cheaply, a long way ahead. That the consumer thinks they're getting all their best deals 1 stroke before midnight. That's a challenge for us. And people want to buy simply. They want to do the big deals, perhaps over the phone, but they want to do the shopping online first. But one thing that's quite interesting is what's happening about